Ladies and gentlemen, Callum, are you ready?
I'm very ready, yeah.
Rage, are you ready?
No, Rage is still getting dressed.
You do seem to be. That's not okay. If that's how you want to get the viewers, that's how you want to get the viewers. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to everyone. Welcome to the Tangent Tavern. I am Josh Strife Hayes.
Oh, I'm Callum Upton,
Callum,
and I'm busy fixing a camera.
No. We're going to do that again, Cal, and we're going to get it. We're going to get it right. Okay, got ready.
I'm ready.
We're going to act like we're professionals and we know what we're doing. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I'm Josh Strife Hayes.
And I'm Callum Upton, and this is our guest.
Ragedarling.
Yes, Rage, thank you very much for joining us. It is lovely to have you here. If everyone in the chat has just randomly come over from the Realm of the Mad God video, you're welcome to be angry at me. That's fine. Take out your anger on me later. For now, we need to focus on the lovely Ragedarling, who has decided to join me and Callum. Against her better judgment, we had to really convince her.
We did, kidnapping.
To come on this podcast. It was difficult. Rage, would you like to introduce yourself and just give us and everyone at home a bit of background on who you are and what you're all about?
My name is Rage. I'm an MMORPG streamer and content creator. I've been on this platform for like 5 years, but I only recently got partner, so I'm like making my way now downtown, walking fast.
You are
past, and I'm homebound. Yeah.
I mean,
and yeah, I met you, Josh, a couple of months ago through Twitter because you were helping me with some business stuff, and we've been chatting about business and all that stuff since. And then Insomnia happened, or the planning for Insomnia.
Josh is like the business daddy.
Yeah.
Josh has been helping me out with stuff as well.
If you're going to say that, I want a placard or a badge that says that. All right, you
I'll
can't
3D
call me.
print you one.
I want the business daddy badge now. Anyone
Business
that
daddy.
anyone that meets me at Insomnia, that's what we're going to be called. I mean, yeah, when I first saw Rage, I thought, oh, there's a really pretty girl. That's nice. Then I thought, oh, she streams. That's nice. And
She's a gamer.
And then I discovered she streams MMORPGs, and I thought, fuck. That's my entire demographic gone right there.
Yeah.
That's just, I mean, why would anyone watch me? Now, I've lost.
There's no coming back from that, really, is there?
Not really, no.
You really put me too high, like, in terms of appearance, in terms of content level, in terms of an entertaining personality. I mean, I know you've only known me a short amount of time, but you should know by now I'm not as good as you.
Callum, is she right? Because I was told that she was really good. I mean, if she's admitting she's crap right now, why is she on the podcast?
Yeah. Look, my judgment on guests has not been the best recently.
No.
We'll just
we'll
leave it
Rage,
at that.
You were sold to me as a fantastic, incredibly talented streamer. You're sat here right now saying that you're terrible. I mean, have we got time to get Kira TV back on right now? We can send him. We can call the Spiffing Blade. He's busy. You know what?
Yeah.
We'll work with what we have.
Yes.
No, in all seriousness, Rage is a fantastically talented streamer. I believe you're actually quite an awarded streamer as well, aren't you? You've won more than your fair share of awards. Talk us through some of the recognition that you've got.
Fluke Awards, that's what they are. I'm recognised as one of the top 5 UK Apex Legends streamers, designated by Red Bull. Don't know why, I'm terrible. And I also got nominated for a Golden Joystick Award for female streamer, I think it was. And I've won I've been nominated for an esports award for presenting, because that's also what I do, hosting, presenting. So
you have an esports award for streaming and presenting. You are a very decorated, talented streamer. Callum, what awards have you got?
Many.
I'm not talking like swimming awards from primary school or like handwriting awards.
Shit, I've got none then.
But none of them.
I've got the blue whale badge for swimming. That was an effort and a half.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I got a blue Peter badge once. Remember those little blue Peter badges?
Yes, I remember them. I always wanted one.
I bought it off eBay. You can just buy them. You don't need to go on the show or win. You don't need to do what they're saying. You can just buy blue. Do you want to know?
I'm checking this now.
Do you want to know a secret? I didn't realise this. You can just buy a trophy. Like, you can just straight up go to a trophy shop.
You can.
And just buy one. I've got a golf trophy. I've never played golf.
You can buy a blue Peter badge.
You can.
£4.99.
Exactly. People walk in and go, "Oh, you've won a golf tournament." I'm like, "Nope." Just like the trophy.
That'll be here next Tuesday.
Callum is buying himself a Blue Peter badge.
I want one.
I always wanted one. If I'd have known it was this easy, I'd have given up 10 years ago.
Rage, we'll get you a Blue Peter badge. So yes, what happened was I saw Rage tweeting out about businessy stuff, behind the scenes twitchy things. So I reached out, we had a conversation about business and stuff, and then I mentioned to you that I was looking into this Insomnia thing, and it turns out that you know the people who have been responsible for creating Insomnia for quite some time, because you've been a couple of times. Rage, what is Insomnia Fest?
All right, are you ready?
No.
I've got my pre-roll script ready. Insomnia Gaming Festival is the UK's largest gaming festival that connects all the different types of nerd culture that we really love. We have cosplay, we have tabletop, we have AAA games, we have indie games, we have... That's kind of it.
This is not an ad. It was really good up until that
She's
bit.
just earned herself £30 right there.
That's it. That's
Nice.
it. Right, just off screen, there's a Red Bull guy, there's an Insomnia guy making sure she send that. This is not an ad, but it is something we are being flown in as guests. I'm having a helicopter sent for me.
Oof.
Are you having a helicopter, Callum?
I got given a skateboard.
Yeah, you're just going to push you. Someone's going to give you a push downhill. That's all it's going to be. But in all seriousness, we will be there. We'll be chatting to all of you guys, and we will be playing Dungeons and Dragons live. Now, Rage, they've tried to do live tabletop events before at Insomnia, haven't they?
Yeah, they have.
Why don't you talk us through the tales? Callum, have you heard these tales?
I've heard a few tales, yes. I'd like them in their entirety.
Yes, Rage, regale us with tales of Insomnia's attempts at tabletop sessions.
Right, so I've not had the misfortune of witnessing this live, because it was debatable, but I can tell you the details. So they tried to bring Dungeons and Dragons to the mainstream stage because it's such a wide known thing within like our community, but like behind closed doors. So they tried to do it on stage, but they tried to do it in the terms of I think it was werewolves that they were playing. You know, werewolves.
One Night Ultimate Werewolf.
Yes.
Okay, so that's less of a D&D game and more of a social deduction murder-based game, isn't it? It's along the lines of Avalon or The Resistance or Mafia, those kind of things.
Mm-hmm. So it was their first time to bring a tabletop game from your friends and a couple of like outside viewers to a full stage. So, you know, they chucked some really big YouTubers and content creators on there, and they just kind of went, play the game. The only thing was 50% of the people couldn't give a shit about being there. and then the host, which is the cherry on top, didn't even know how to play the game properly, like at all.
Oh, I see.
So what happened was you had like half of the players didn't understand, half of the players, and the other half of the players didn't care and were just trying to be like louder than each other to be like the Joker on the stage. And when you're on stage and you're performing or you're entertaining with a group of people, really only one of you should be the Joker. The other one should be the serious one, and the other one should be kind of like molding everyone together kind of thing.
Yeah.
Except you just had like all the Jokers on one stage, and it was a bit cringy to watch.
I just imagine it's like the In-Betweeners, but on stage.
Yeah.
It's the scene where they're dancing over.
Oh no.
It was that level. You can watch it back. It's on YouTube, so make up your own mind if you want to. But yeah, so that happened twice, and it kind of annoyingly led Insomnia owners to be like, no, we don't want that anymore. You keep your nerd shit behind closed doors, which sucked because it's stuff like that. It's D&D and werewolves and stuff like that. It's amazing. So we have been given the reins to create the best tabletop event Insomnia has ever seen. No pressure. This April.
So yeah, we're looking forward to it. When you do have, and you're absolutely correct, when you have a lot of people on stage trying to entertain an audience, then the entertainment value comes first. But one of the easiest ways and one of the simplest ways to entertain is to just try and be louder and bigger and noisier than everyone else, which works for like younger kids. You know, they like seeing crazy, weird, strange stuff happening and going wrong. But once you get into the kind of the higher echelons or your audience is like 18 plus, they want to see like a rehearsed thing, a planned thing, an improv thing with talented actors and artists. And I think we were the best people that they could afford. That's what it was. I mean, they would have got Henry Cavill. They didn't have that kind of budget. They got him.
No.
That's how it works. You know, that they would have got really talented people, but instead they had to scale down what they were aiming for, and they got us, didn't they?
Poundland.
They really got bottom of the barrel D&D here, haven't they?
Yeah, they really did. They tried.
Have you ever run a live D&D campaign? No, you'll do.
Yeah, you'll be fine. So what we're calling it is we're calling it Britical Role, because everyone knows Critical Role. We're British, and Matthew Mercer hasn't sued us yet.
Yes.
Patrick. Someone in the chat saying Patrick Stewart was busy. Pretty much. Yeah, the cast of The Next Generation were all way too expensive. So we are going for Britical Role. But what we would like to show you today, what I would like to take you through is a journey. I would like to run an improv D&D session live on Twitch right now. And I'm going to be honest with everyone viewing. I have told Callum or Rage the plot. I've got an idea, but I want to take ideas from you guys, and I want to listen to what they've got. They've had very little preparation time for this. I've told them a game is running, but I've not told them what the game is going to be. And if you are entertained, and my God, I hope you are, come and join us at Insomnia. Callum, tell me your experience with D&D, and then tell me a little bit about the character you're going to be playing today.
Okay, so I've done a single one-shot with Billy Tricks and you. That's it, as far as experience goes.
So you're a very experienced D&D player.
Very accomplished D&D player, yeah.
That was the stream like 2 weeks ago where you kept getting punched in the face, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I have warned Rage that if she punches me in the face anywhere near half as much as Billy did, she's going to have problems at Insomnia.
Callum, what is your character's name?
Well, we're returning again with Donnan, the dwarf.
Donnan, the dwarf. Tell us a little bit about Donnan.
Donnan is he's a 42-year-old dwarf. He's just moved out of the cave with his mom. He's trying to prove her wrong.
He was living in a cave with his mum. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, cool. We're good so far. I'm just going to add some tags to the screen so anyone watching gets to see that your character name is Donnan.
I'm actually going to make us some proper character sheets and bot commands for when we continue on. I've already started work on them.
Is it just D-O-N-I-N?
D-O-N-N-I-N.
D-O-N-N-I-N. Give me a second.
Yeah.
I'll sort that out for you right now. So, Donnan has moved out of the cave with his mum.
Yeah.
What does Donnan want from life?
He just wants a place to call his own, really. He's recently acquired a cave, actually. It's a little bit haunted, not the best.
So he's bought a haunted cave from, like, rightcave.com.
Well, he didn't exactly buy it. He may have acquired it by giving a possessed skull a body and setting it free.
You freed the soul of Vecna from the Temple of Doom, didn't you? Because that was the best idea. The Temple of Horrors.
Yeah.
The Tomb of Horrors, that was the one. And you freed the end boss that you were meant to have killed in the last session. You just let kind of gallivant across the countryside, didn't you?
Yes, and I came to a very quick realization that although I now own a cave, I am kind of indebted to Grund, my partner in crime at the time.
Yes.
And I kind of owe her half the rent, which means I can't live in it.
So you've acquired a home and you've been hit with taxation and fees and rent and had to move out. This is getting very real, this D&D session, isn't it?
It's the way the world works. The hovel market's not great right now.
Part of the session was just taxes.
Pretty much, exactly. I'm rolling a D20 in which I'm paying the tax man.
The irony is that filling out an actual D&D player sheet is about as complicated as filling out a tax return form.
I learned that the hard way.
It is. So, Callum, you are going to be playing Donnan the dwarf, who is currently in debt from he can't afford his rent for the hovel that he now owns. Rage,
correct.
Tell us about your experience with D&D in general.
I wouldn't say I'm super experienced, but I've done 3 campaigns. One was on Twitch, and it spanned like a year and a half. And I DM'd an event. I've DM'd a campaign at an event, a one-shot. That was really fun. So I have like a whole slew of characters and stories that aren't finished and haven't been tied up, and it aggravates me because it just makes me wonder, where are they? Where are they in the world? How are they? What are they doing?
Have they achieved their dreams? Are they just adrift in a cosmic void? Are they living in a cave somewhere? Who knows what's happened to them? Do you prefer being a player or being a DM?
I think there's a lot of pressure that comes with DMing, and sometimes I don't like that pressure, but also it's kind of a challenge. And I like being able to challenge myself, and I like to be able to play multiple characters, but I suck at rules. I absolutely suck at rules. So if I'm playing with someone who's like, oh, actually, you can't do that because you've got a dagger, so it's actually 2d4, and you can only move 2 spaces, and I'm like, so,
a wizard did it. Magic.
Yeah.
It's I ain't got to explain shit. It's magic, all right? That's known as being a rules lawyer. If there are any rules lawyers in the audience when I'm DMing the game, they can leave. That's the best way to do it. People have asked me how I DM, and the best way I can explain it is, you know when you play a video game and you have render settings and distance settings and graphic quality settings, and you can kind of reduce the world so you could only see what's really close to you? I DM on the lowest settings. Like when you turn around the corner and people were like, ooh, did you have that planned already? I'm like, I didn't even have the corner planned, all right? Stuff is popping into this world as we're journeying through it. It's like playing Skyrim and only being able to see like 10 feet in front of you. When the audience go, it's so clever, he's had that dragon planned the whole time. I'm like, I didn't even have it planned when I said the word dragon. This is surprising to me as well. So that's
word vomit.
It is. That's how we're going to be DMing it. I am going to be, and people go, does this weapon use a D4 or a D6 or a D20? I'm like, it uses whatever dice is closest to me. The only reason I roll dice behind a DM board is because I like the sound. I have no idea what any of them mean. Rage,
cool. Tell
us a bit about the character you're going to be playing today.
So I'm playing a character that has previously adventured. His name or her name or their name is Jamie Pecoria.
How do I spell that?
Jamie. So Jamie.
Jamie. Fantastic.
Yeah. And they are a stabby rogue.
A stabby rogue. So that's actually in the rulebook. You've got, the rogues of the shadow, you've got the rogues of the circus, you've got the rogues of the street, and then you've got stabby. Why don't you tell us a bit about stabby rogues?
Okay, so stabby rogues are not like any other rogues. They are not stealthy rogues. They are not beefy rogues. They are sneaky rogues, but very charismatic, because Jamie is an Aarakocra. And this particular Aarakocra, is very sneaky and very suspicious and very cunning, but you just can't help but trust them. They have that like glint in their eye that just makes you go, yeah, you can have my dinner money. Sure.
Yeah, I believe it. So I, of course, know exactly what an Aarakocra is, but why don't you explain to all of the viewers who might not know what it is?
Okay. Simple. An Aarakocra is a bird, and I'm 99% sure World of Warcraft ripped their character.
That's the only reason I know.
That's what I was thinking. Yes, I was thinking.
Aarakocra.
It's a bird person.
That's it.
Excellent. There we go. Brilliant. So we have Donnan, the dwarf who's in debt, and we have Jamie, the sneaky rogue Aarakocra that I'm going to shorten to bird for the rest of the session because I won't be able to pronounce that word the entire time. Basically, a Kenku that can talk. So, you awake in a room. No, that's a terrible way to start. Here's the important thing about the session. I'm not worried about the movement you have remaining in a turn. I'm not worried about following any specific hard and fast rules. What I want this to be is an improvised, fun, silly adventure. I will keep the world consistent. You will interact with the world. Callum, I know you're streaming this as well. Your chat are obviously welcome to help you. Anyone on my chat, you're welcome to suggest ideas. I will be controlling the NPCs and the enemies. My objective is not necessarily to kill you, but to do what the NPC would think is correct. I don't win if you die. You don't win if you beat the adventure but don't have any fun. This is about having a fun, silly adventure together. The only thing I ask is that even if your characters may not like each other, they may, but they may not, you need to at least work together. We're not going to have anyone sitting in the corner, edgelord, hood over, welcoming and saying, no, I don't want to join the group, because if you do that, I'll just leave you in the corner. Making sense so far?
Yeah.
Yep.
Fantastic. You are thirsty, and you are hungry. because it's been a day or two since either of you have had food. You can't quite remember how you got to where you are now, but looking around at your surroundings, you realise it's not in a great place. You are both in separate jail cells, opposite each other. The cell you're in is maybe 10 feet by 10 feet. There's a wooden bench. There's metal bars barring you in. There's a small window with bars on the top, letting a meagre amount of light stream down. Between the cells, the path to the rest of the cell block if you were to look down. You can't hear anyone else. Someone in the chat said the Elder Scrolls starter. No, stop it. It's not Oblivion. All right, Patrick Stewart's not going to show up. Donnan, what do you believe you could have done that would have ended with you being imprisoned and potentially hit on the head because you're having a hard time remembering?
Yeah, well, the last thing that I very vaguely remember is I just come out of a very haunted tomb after setting its, its resident free, and may or may not, depending on how I recall this, have plagued an entire village.
That's a very difficult thing to not have a complete recollection of, Cal. You either did or didn't plague a village. No one kind of plagues a village.
Well, you see, I'm sat here looking at a few arrows I've got tucked away behind my my newly acquired cloak that look very, very much made out of plagued wood, and I do kind of recall being in a village where the wood was just rotting from plague. So it makes sense that I'd have made arrows first thing and, worried about the residents of that village later.
So you've woken up in your jail cell, looked around, looked at your quiver, seen horrific, horrible, demonic arrows and kind of gone,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. I don't remember a whole lot else after coming out of the demon's cave.
Right, but you have got the arrows.
I have got the arrows, which makes a change, actually. I'm sure they'll be gone in 10 minutes.
Because you destroyed them last time. And
yeah.
Jamie, you are shaking your head. It's fuzzy still, but you're now inside this jail cell, opposite another jail cell with some kind of dwarf in it, admiring some arrows in a quiver. What are you thinking, Jamie?
I'm wondering why the dwarf has been, in this jail cell for a couple of days, and he's not said a word to me. I'm not sure if it's the bump on his head. I'm not sure if he's, been asleep or whatever, but it's a bit sus, man. Why aren't you saying anything? Maybe he was planted there to spy on me.
It's interesting that you said that, because I've got plans. Anyone in the chat, by the way, don't let these two know, but I'm going to take anything they think I might be doing and then do it later to make it seem like I'm a really good DM. So you've been awake for a couple of days watching this dwarf. What have you been thinking about while you've been awake? This 10-foot by 10-foot cell, you're all alone, you got a bench, you got a window, you got some bars. Have you wanted to escape? Do you even know where you are?
I know where I am. I know what put me here, and I know why I'm here.
Do you want to fill us in with those facts?
Sure. So, I was trying to pull a sneaky on somebody, and I tricked the party I was currently traveling and adventuring with, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll lead you to your friend, no worries. So I brought them over to this edgelord, and I was like, hey, I have your sacrifices. Can I have my boyfriend back? And he was like, yeah, sure. And the party were like, what the hell? And I'm like, see you later, dudes. But while we were coming out and I was skipping with my boyfriend, la la la, we're free, that's when we got caught by the guards.
So you sacrificed your entire party in an attempt to get your boyfriend back?
Yeah, of course I did.
You know what? Donnan's plague in a village doesn't seem that bad anymore.
No, I'm feeling quite okay about this right now.
I'm tempted to just end the session and leave both you guys in jail. I don't think you deserve to escape right now. Chat, what do we think? I think that's the whole session. The session starts with them locked up, they explain what they did, and everyone kind of goes, yeah, that's fair.
That makes sense.
That's understandable. That's an okay place to be. You've been here for a couple of days. You hear but can't see a guard pacing up and down at the end of the corridor. You're hungry. You're thirsty. And now that Donnan is awake, Jamie, you can see this dwarf admiring some almost horrific plague-looking arrows. Jamie, would you like to say anything to Donnan? Would you like to shout across to him?
I would. Hey. Hey.
Hello?
What are you in here for? What are you doing? What's your name? Where are you from?
name's Donnan. Accidentally plagued a village. Sort of, semi-accidentally.
Hold on, what?
It's a long story. Very long story.
Donnan, do you wish to regale the entire story, or should we just imagine that you have done that, you have explained to Jamie exactly what happened, and now, Jamie, you know that he's potentially, partially, maybe responsible for a bit of plague?
I mean, I'll give the TLDR. Set a demon free. Came back to village to collect bounty, that they set us on. Village was plagued and kind of like rotten.
Bounty that was offered for killing the demon very specifically, not letting it free. That was kind of the opposite of what they wanted to pay you to do.
The demon was very persuasive.
You stabbed it with a sword, you pulled the sword out, and it just ran off. In fact, if anything, I'm pretty sure you gave it a sword, didn't you?
No, he gave me a sword after I gave him a body to possess. So that was a fair trade, in my opinion.
You possessed a body?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jamie, you now know that Donnan is a man who will make deals with demons, maybe not a man of high moral standing. You are both hungry, and you are both thirsty, and you cannot stay here. Donnan, how do you think you would get out of this cell? You have a guard pacing up and down. You have a small window with heavy bars set into it. You have a vertical barred wall in front with a small gate in it, and you have a couple of oddments scattered around the actual cell. What are you thinking?
Right, listen here, bird person. I have a plan. So, I don't know if that's offensive to you bird people, but we will...
Extremely, but go on.
Okay, so here's the plan. You distract a guard, and I may be able to, with an arrow, pinch some keys off him, if they're exposed. If not, then we need a totally different plan.
Okay.
Hold on, so... I'm going to go to the edge of the jail and I'm going to try and attempt to mentally work out the distance between my jail cell and Donnan's jail cell, and also estimate the length of his arrow, to see whether or not this is actually possible?
It's probably only about 6 feet between the cells. It's just essentially a corridor that you walk up and down with cells along it. So if a guard were to walk up and turn and face your cell, it would be relatively simple for Donnan to use an arrow to lean through the bars and try and hook off the keys from the belt. How successful that will be remains to be seen.
All right.
I think we just send it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it,
buddy. From one sketchy person to another.
I will get my big ball of 20.
Yes.
This is my big D20. The way that we roll, by the way, is I just kind of throw the ball, catch it, and then we see whichever number is closest to the camera. In this case, it'll be a 10. That is the way we do this. This is the ball that I will be using at Insomnia, by the way. My plan is to throw it into the audience and then have someone throw it back to me to catch it and see whatever number's directly in front of me. That plan will work right up until someone steals it.
Yeah.
Just runs out of it up. That's a 20. So describe this plan to me. Describe your escape plan. Donnan, what do you picture happening?
So, I plan that Jamie gets a bit flirty with the guard, maybe. I don't know the gender of the guard, but it could work either way, you know. Curiosity will take the better. So, we'll have the guard distracted, and I, with my stubby arms and my plague arrow, will lean out and try and unhook the keys off the back of the guard, and then some sort of diversion to get rid of him after would be the ideal plan.
That's a great theory. Jamie, what do you think of this plan?
Yeah, let's do it. It's my forte.
Okay, you can hear, if you listen, footsteps down the end of the corridor, pacing up and down. There's a couple. There's not just one or two. You can hear a distinct multiple patter. You may need to deal with 2 or 3 guards if you shout them down, or you can try and just distract one. You haven't seen them yet, and you don't exactly know where you are.
Okay.
Play dead.
Play dead?
It could work.
I mean, you'd have to shout the guard first, otherwise your plan is just going to be lie down in the cell.
So here's the plan. Okay. Jamie could lie down, and I could call the guard over because there is a dead bird in the cage.
Not like a pigeon in the corner. Like
not like a miner's bird in a lantern.
Actual Jamie has died. Is that what you want the plan to be?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. What would you say, Donnan?
I don't know, actually. Let me think. I'd have to kick up a fuss and be like, oh my god, dead bird. Somebody come help.
That's exactly what you shout. You shout,
That's
dead
exactly
bird,
what I
somebody come
shout.
help. And then you hear a footstep. And another, and another, and another. That's a great dead bird face there, Jamie. That's fantastic. You look out and you see the guard and all of their 8 legs walking down the corridor toward you. You can see their armoured torso, and you can see some long, spindly arms gripping a curved blade as a face with 8 red eyes starts to eye up at you. And you realise it is a relatively big Drider walking all the way down. A somewhat demonic spider, armed up and ready. It pitter-patters down, turns, and looks at you, Donnan, and goes, "What did you say, dwarf?"
Right behind you, there is a dead bird sat in that cage. Don't know if you want to do anything about it. Don't know if it really matters. But they probably need some sort of medical attention.
"It is not my job to provide medical attention to this." And when it says this, it turns and looks. And you don't know if this is the only chance you're going to get, but it has turned its head and looked.
I'm going to take the chance.
Do you want to roll your own D20? I will roll this for my dudes. You can roll it for yours. Roll the D20, Cal, and be honest, because this works on the honesty principle. We will be doing voices for all of them, and I will be doing very descriptive combat scenarios as well. The Drider has turned. You can hear the metal armour clanking. You can see its legs kind of spindly, shaking, ready, always alert. And Jamie, how are you doing playing dead?
Oh, I'm great.
That's good. That's good. That's a good death. Well done. Cal, tell me how well your dice roll went. Roll a D20.
Okay. 15.
15, not bad. Describe what you would like to happen while the Drider guard is distracted.
Okay, so I want to reach out with all of my stubby arm, arrow fully extended, and use the little barbed tip to just try and hook the keys off of his belt or whatever he's got it attached to.
It's a series of metal rings around the bottom of the kind of metal armour of the upper torso, but you are able to reach through the bars. The plague wood extending to a barbed tip. You hook the barb underneath the keyring, lift it up, and then pull it back quickly, grabbing it and hiding it behind to make sure. The Drider looks at the bird and then looks back to you. "How long has this thing been on the floor?"
I don't know. I was asleep. I had a quick nap, woke up, and it was just flat on the floor.
You see the Drider's face. Scowl. Horrific. Hates it. It turns and it steps with its legs a little bit closer. It raises and slowly extends one of its spindly legs through the bars and just kind of pokes you, Jamie, as you can hear it hissing. "Is it dead?" As you're being poked, Jamie, what would you like to do?
I really want to see what's poking me. And so I'm just going to open my eye, just like a tiny bit, just to peep through, just to see what this thing is. Because it's kind of hairy, and I can feel it through my bird feathers, and I don't feel too good.
It's still dusty, and the rays of light filtering in from the small window are catching the specks of dust in the air, but as you open your eyes and you look through, you can see the vertical metal bars, and you can see coming from the vertical metal bars a wiry, spindly, hairy spider leg attached on the other side of the bars to a relatively thin, spindly body, with metal armour on the torso, red eyes staring at you, and 2 arms holding short, curved blades. You realise it's a Drider poking you, but you've seen Driders before, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
And you know this one is quite a weak one. Definitely not a warrior. That's why it's been resigned to guard duty. You know that Donnan has got the keys. Anything else you'd like to do, or do you think this is best dealt with stealth?
It's not what I want to do, it's what I instinctively and animalistically have to do. So as soon as I notice that it's a Drider, the best food ever for an Aarakocra, I just immediately, and I snap on his little spindly leg, just to have a little taste.
Roll a D20. Rage has to go and get dice because she has them. There's a dog in the room. Yes, there is a dog in the room, ladies and gents. That does make
I
D&D
didn't even notice.
instantly better.
She's
There's a cat in this room.
chilling. Oh,
Instant
7.
riot. A 7.
Yeah.
You open your eyes, you look, you realise it's a drider. You realise it's basically a giant walking snack. And as you open your eyes more, begin to salivate, your beak opens, the drider realises you are not dead and quickly pulls its leg out of your cage. Your beak snaps shut and barely misses the leg. As you do, the drider stumbles backwards and crashes into the bars of your cage, Donnan. It's now much closer than it was before, and it's slightly off balance. Could you take advantage of this?
Yeah, I think I could. Now, seeing as the stealth plan's gone way out the window, I think it's probably best that I grab through the bars. I want to try and reach around his neck and try and snap it up the bars.
Its neck is a little bit higher than you are, so you would need to jump.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to vault.
So what we're about to see is a little dwarf jump up, stick his arms through the vertical bars, wrap your arms around the neck, and then just kind of cling on for dear life to try and choke this drider out.
Yeah, maybe even give it a stab with the arrow I've got in my hand.
Roll a d20.
Okay, here we go. So, 5.
It's an exciting time. There's a lot of things happening all in one go. You leap. You gain the height. It's perfect. You clench your fists. You are ready for this. You are going to punch through the bars, wrap your arms around the neck. That's the plan. Unfortunately, the light filtering in is not quite enough, and with the adrenaline of the jump, you aren't quite able to aim the punches as well as you want. So instead of punching through the bars, what you're able to do is perfectly punch the bars.
Perfect.
You are unfortunately in the air when this happens, and due to physics, what you have now ended up doing is punching yourself both backwards and spinning, so you are now perpendicular to the ground as you crash down very hard onto it. Effectively, it's a bar fight, but you've lost against the bars. Jump, punch, knock back, spin, fall onto the floor. Your hands are in tremendous pain because you really put a lot of effort behind that punch. Your knuckles are bloody. One of your fingers is definitely in the wrong position. The guard, of course, just heard hup, poof behind them as a little jump of a dwarf and then the clang of metal as you punched it. So it turns to look at you. It doesn't know what to say. But as it is looking, Jamie, what do you think you would do? You can take advantage of this confusion.
I do. And my feathery little arms are quite skinny and they can fit through the bars. So I'm gonna put my little feathers through and I'm gonna cloak his face, like all of his eyes, so he can't see anything. So it's like a big hug.
Right now, the guard is against the cage that Donnan is in.
Aww.
You were effectively facing him. He was looking at you when he fell back. You could run forward and put your kind of feathers through the cage and grab the guard and pull him to you.
Yeah.
Now try that.
Yeah.
Roll a d20, see how well that goes.
4.
This isn't going. I'm having deja vu here.
Jamie decides Donnan wasn't able to. I can do it. You run forward, stick your arms through the bars. You don't stop running, and you smash your face into the bars.
Oh.
And then you fall backwards. Both player characters are currently on the floor. Donnan jumped up, punched the bars and knocked himself onto the floor. Jamie just ran forward and smashed her face and body into the bars with her arms through them as fast as they possibly can. The drider gets knocked back again and is standing in the middle. What did we take these things for? You should be in the hospitals. You shouldn't be. You are clearly unwell. I will fetch the nurse. The drider steps back, feeling somewhat sorry for you, and decides to scuttle back down the corridor to fetch an adult, to fetch a doctor, to fetch someone who is able to provide guidance for how to exist, because this is not going super well. Donnan, you've managed to recover from knocking yourself onto the floor. How are you feeling? You do still have the keys.
Hands are feeling a bit weak, a bit bruised, but I do have the keys, so I'm quite happy with that. And now that they've gone, we've got a chance to get out here.
Excellent. Okay, and Jamie, how are you feeling? You've just knocked yourself onto the floor by smashing your face into a metal bar.
My beak's a bit bruised, not gonna lie. It's a little bit. But other than that, I'm alright. I'm a bit embarrassed.
Very, yes, you should be. So you should. Donnan, would you like to say anything to Jamie after you saw her do that? Maybe you thought she was doing it in solidarity with you.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't catch all of it because I was upside down on the floor. But what I did see, that was a very impressive attempt at going headfirst through the bars for whatever reason.
You don't know how much time you've got until the guard comes back. Donnan, what are you going to try and do to get out?
I'm going to retrain to the lock and try and open my cage.
It works perfectly. You hear the click and you see the door swing open. You hear the rusty hinges rubbing against each other. And if you gently peek your head out, you can see that the guard has left. Down the end of the corridor, there's no one else in any of the actual cells. It is just you two, and you have unlocked yours now.
Awesome. And then I want to try and free Jamie as well with the keys.
It works perfectly. You hear the click. You are both now free. When you leave, there's only one way out of this corridor. You can walk the other way down to the end, but it's just a wall as far as you can tell. Or you can take the path the guard did take. It'll take you past about 12 other cells, 6 on each side of the corridor, all of them empty, and then the path turns to the left. What do you wish to do? You can investigate any of the other cells, you can go down to the seeming wall, or you can follow where the guard went. Donnan, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking we've got the keys here to the city, so we might as well investigate the other cells, see if there's anything that, you know, could be of use to us.
I see.
So I want to look around the other cells.
Jamie, what are you thinking?
I've been in my fair share of jail cells, and I always know that there is always a fire escape. Legally, because otherwise the council comes after you. So I'm going to go...
It's the jail cell with the big green sign above it, isn't it? That says fire.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
That's
so
the one.
I'm going to go and investigate this seemingly flat wall that looks not suspicious whatsoever.
You're going to have a look at the seemingly flat wall.
Mm-hmm.
You walk down to the end. The surface that you're on looks like dirt, rock, sand, but you can feel it bend and bow slightly with every step you take, almost as if it's been made. Maybe it's a wooden floor with a layer on top of it, but it's definitely not the floor. You reach the end and you find the wall. You can see nothing suspicious about it at all. To either side of you, there are, of course, 2 jail cells. In one of them is a book.
Ooh. We should take it.
I want to see what the book is. Wait, before I do that, I want to I would scrape the floor with my foot, like with my little clawed foot, because if I stand on it, I'm going to be like, whoa, what is this? So I'm going to like dig a little bit.
Underneath the dirt and the sand is wood, a wooden beam, as if it's a wooden floor. You can tell that wherever you are isn't built on the ground as it is. Maybe you're on the first floor of a building. Maybe you're on the second floor. Maybe you're in a built dungeon, but you're definitely not in a regular jail.
Okay, all right. Knowing this, I'm going to turn and look for the book that I noticed in the jail cell.
The door is open, so you can simply walk in, pick up the book, and begin to read it if you wish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's on the front cover? And what colour is it?
It says diary, and it's blue.
Is it old? Is it new?
It's relatively new.
Ah, does it have a name on the front?
No, it just says diary.
Okay, what's on the first page?
You realise it's the diary of a fire safety inspector, and they are incredibly upset that this jail is not up to standard. They may have been thrown into this jail for crimes they are not willing to discuss, but while they are here, that does not stop them being professional, and they have kept a very detailed list of all of the fire safety regulations and the failures of this kind of structure that you're in. Mm-hmm. The only thing that you can notice that's really important is the massive amount of wooden rope ladders that he discussed being held in storage room 2. Rope ladders that have not been kept up to standard and are far too dry and, if set ablaze, would just instantly burn up. But there's a hell of a lot of rope ladders in storeroom 2.
Are there any decent fire escapes that he noted in his diary?
He simply noticed, he writes, in spite of where we are, regulations should still be followed. Although I can understand how, in these circumstances, the fire escape is effectively just down.
Okay. And on the front page of his diary, and obviously if he's a fire inspector, he's going to keep formalities. Mm-hmm. Does it say the location of where he's writing about? Mm-hmm.
Nope, just where this is. Most of it is just small scribbles. Amazingly, that's actually the only bit of the diary you can read. The rest of it is written in a language that you don't understand. It's a thorough, fleshed-out book, but it just so happens the only bit you're able to read is the information that is relevant to this adventure.
Rests in Doctor's hand.
Yes, that's it's super convenient how that's happened, but that is how it's happened. While Jamie is reading this diary and understanding that you escape the fire by going down, and there are lots of rope ladders in storeroom 2, Donnan, what are you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking two things. I'm thinking, first of all, is there anything of use around me in these jail cells that we could possibly get a hold of?
There's a bucket, there's a rope, there is... Every cell has a wooden bed frame, but most of them are rotting and falling apart. There's a couple of nails. The only thing you see that might be of interest is an extremely rusty knife that's embedded in the mattress of one of the beds. It's been used to cut the mattress open almost to check as if there's contraband inside it, and the knife has simply been left. It's rusty, it's not sharp at all, but it's better than anything else.
Okay. This leads me to a brilliant or terrible plan. Just out of, curiosity, is the mattress bouncy?
I'm going to roll... Never let it be said that I am not a thorough DM. I am going to roll a d20 for the bounciness of the mattress. Right. Let me find a d20. It is as if it has been blessed by the god of springs itself. Standing on the mattress, it's impossible to stand still. Thousands of tiny excitement coils ready to bounce you at least 3 or 4 feet into the air. Despite the cut into it, it is probably one of the bounciest substances known to man.
Perfect. So, what I want to do is I'm going to take the knife. I'm not going to turn down a rusty knife.
No, free knife.
But I'm going to drag the mattress out. I'm going to place it in front of this bendy floor that our bird pal just discovered. And I'm going to try and cannonball off the mattress and through the floor.
What?
Okay. So you know for a fact that the floor isn't necessarily the floor. It might just be like a wooden floor of a building. You want to bounce off the mattress to get some height and then land on the floor so powerfully you break through the floor.
Exactly.
You don't want to lever the floor up. You don't want to cut through the floor. You don't want to find a weak floorboard. You want to cannonball through the floor.
Yeah. Here's my plan, right? If we slowly lever the floor up or try and cut through it, we're giving them a lot of time to realise what we're doing. If I just go gung-ho, cannonball through the floor, they're not going to see that coming.
I don't think they're going to realise what you're doing at all. I don't think with a long explanation they're going to realise what you're doing. But it's your adventure.
Exactly.
You drag the mattress out of the cell into the central corridor. You can hear footsteps distant down. They're nowhere near you right now. And you place it on the floor. Let me get this correct. Your plan is to bounce off the mattress and land on a somewhat bendy bit of the floor in an attempt to break through the floor.
Correct.
Jamie, how do you feel about this plan?
Has he told me what he's doing, or is he just being a crazy man and just...
Donnan, have you told Jane what you're doing, or has she just seen you walk in and go, and then just drag a mattress out and put it on the floor and just start bouncing on it?
I think for comedy value, I haven't told her anything that's going on.
Jamie, you know nothing about this plan. All you've seen him do is pull a knife out, be super excited, and start to drag a mattress toward you.
I look up from my diary that I'm well invested in, and I see this dwarf just start bouncing on the mattress, and I quickly get a word in and say, Donnan, what are you doing?
Donnan, how would you respond to that question? That's how you respond. That's it. He just goes, There's no enunciation, no explanation. It's just a noise.
I just go, and then do it.
And then you put your plan into action. Donnan, please roll show, don't tell. Roll a d20.
Okay. 7.
No.
How many bones am I breaking?
Only one, but it's an ankle. Because you run, jump, completely underestimate how fast a runner you are. You are remarkably quick at running, and unfortunately your jump has cleared the entire mattress. So when you slam your feet on the floor in an attempt to hit the mattress and bounce into the air, what you actually do is slam your feet onto the bouncy bit of land, the bit of bendy wood that you were aiming to land on anyway. You've kind of half gone through with your plan, because your foot goes through the floor. You splinter the wood, you shatter it, and you fall down, but only up to your waist, because you aren't quite able to get all the way through. So you leap over the mattress, slam your feet down, you feel a rush of pain in your ankle, and then you kind of get wedged where the waist is. Look down, bit of stomach hanging over there. You're stuck with it down. Whoever's in the room beneath you has literally just seen a little pair of dwarf legs dangling down. Are you wearing, like, trousers, or are you wearing a skirt or a kilt? Because it's going to be very important to what they see.
Well, if we remember from last time, I've got my leather pants on with a very long robe, but no boots, because they disintegrated in the tomb.
You did. You put your boots into the sphere of annihilation to see what would happen, and they got annihilated, conveniently.
Yeah. Who'd have guessed? So
they've just seen little tiny dwarf feet with leather trousers just kind of... Are your legs moving, or are they just kind of hanging there slowly?
I'm kind of like running on the spot, trying to wiggle myself down.
Like a Looney Tunes style thing where you're running to try and move.
Exactly.
You're trying to wiggle yourself down, like you're just kind of egging.
Yeah, okay. I'm just wriggling.
Brilliant. And Jamie, what you've seen is Donnan go, and then jump over the mattress and slam through the floor. What are you thinking? Be detailed.
I am just so confused. I'm wondering, what the heck is this thing, this dwarf? What has possessed him to do that? And I kind of want to just leave him there. Like,
that's an option.
I can just
I'm not taking that off the table. That's a choice if you want to take it.
I could take the keys and just leave. He's a great distraction. He's stuck in there.
Unfortunately, the keys are attached to Donnan's belt, which just happens to be under the floor level of where he is smashed through.
Well, I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna try and like push his pants apart, anything that's like above surface level, just to see if I can see the keys. Find out that they're underneath.
It's splinters of wood around the middle. So the only thing you're doing right now is you're either pulling him back up or you're pushing him down.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't worry, Donnan. I'm definitely gonna help you. I'm definitely not looking for the keys.
Yeah. Cheers.
Freaking keys, man. Do you want to go up or down?
I feel we just commit to the plan now. I think we just go down.
Okay. All right then. So I look at the mattress behind me, and I'm like, "That's a good idea."
Oh, no.
So I walk over to the mattress, and I see the mattress, and I'm going to sprint towards it, jump on the mattress, and land straight on Donnan's shoulders.
Roll a d20, see how well this goes.
I'm getting punched again, aren't I?
Well, you've already punched yourself, mate, so it'll make a difference.
That's true.
Oh, I thought it said 21. No, it's a 12.
You run. You jump. You land on the boundary mattress. You get launched into the air. You have height. You did not expect it to be this bouncy. This is far too bouncy. And unfortunately, you're maybe about a foot off from the aiming of landing on his shoulders. What you're able to do is land right next to him, smash your feet through the ground as well, fall through, and then get stuck at around waist height. You're facing each other. Jamie, you have managed to break through in effectively the same way that Donnan has, which means whoever is underneath has now just seen some bird claws hanging next to some dwarf legs, and you're both facing each other. Jamie, the plan didn't go exactly as expected, but you could probably wiggle and fall through the hole into whatever room there is below. Or you can just have a chat for a bit. Because you can hear the Drider guard coming back with someone else with them, potentially some kind of mental health specialist. So you need to get out before they arrive, or they're going to turn around the corner and see both of you just stuck through the floor, looking up.
Well, fortunately, I haven't plucked myself in about a few weeks, so I've got a bit of extra feathers. So I begin frantically plucking my feathers out from my waist, which considerably reduces my size.
Excellent. And that actually works. As you start to do that, you begin to slip further and further and further and further and further down the hole until you fall into the room below. And you quickly take a look at your surroundings. There's a load of feathers on the floor. The walls are made of wood. And there's just rope ladders hanging up all around the room. And you think, oh, this is clearly storeroom 2. There is a wooden door leading to wherever else there is. But you are definitely in storeroom 2. If you look up, you can see some little dwarf legs hanging. Donnan, how are you feeling?
I'm great. Just great. I've got a plan though.
What's the plan? What's the plan, Donnan?
I did pick up a rusty dagger, so I could pry off some of these boards around me, between the 2 holes that are now formed. Pop the planks off, and hopefully it'll create a big enough hole for me to just drop through and plop onto the pile of feathers.
Roll a d20.
Okay. 7.
The guard returns and rounds the corner. The guard rounds the corner with another smaller spider dressed in white, looking like almost a medical spider. As the guard Drider turns round and looks, a confused wash over their face. They see 2 holes in the floor, both cages open. The hole behind, nothing in. In front, there is a dwarf. But you're facing away from the guard, effectively. So all the guard sees is you just pull out a dagger and then just start poking the floor with it around you, trying to get purchase into any of the things. And eventually, you just kind of give up poking the floor because there's not as much. Jamie, you know that there is a guard walking down this corridor. Can you think of any way to help?
Yes.
What could you do?
I will look up towards Donnan. Donnan?
Either.
Donnan. Like Donnan kebab. Got it.
Donnan kebab, yeah.
Donnan, and I say, suck it in! And then I jump and I grab his little ankles.
I just give a quick...
Yep.
Roll a d20.
14!
14.
Perfect.
It's not beautiful, but it works. What the guard sees is a dwarf stabbing the floor as he is wedged up to his waist, and then sheath the knife and kind of go, put his hands up together, and then just floop, just fall through as you get pulled down into storeroom 2. You can hear the guard's feet running over to these holes you've made in the floor as you crumble to a pile in the storeroom. You've only got a couple of seconds to think about what to do. You've either got to stay in the room and hide or leave. Jamie, what are you going to do?
I leave.
You leave. Fantastic. You walk up to the door. You open it. It's open. Do you burst through the door?
Yes.
Fantastic. Donnan, what do you do?
I'm following. My plans haven't worked so far. I'm doing what they're doing.
Okay, so you're going to run and go through the door. Are you going to try and get through the door first or second?
Well, I'd imagine I'm picking myself up off the floor still, pulling planks off of me, trying to get these bird feathers out my feet, and just, I follow after.
Follow after. Jamie, you throw this door open and run. You know you're in a storeroom, but you're not sure what it's connected to. Donnan, you run after as well. Jamie, could you roll a d20, please?
God. 7?
Donnan, could you roll a d20, please?
Let me guess. Oh, 7 would have been good. 3.
Jamie,
Getting low.
you run forward, you open the door, you look. It's a canteen. It's clearly some kind of big operation you're involved in right now, but this is the lunchtime queue. And you look through and you see rows of tables, maybe 7 or 8 rows with Driders sat at every one. A couple of dark elves walking up and down. You see a lunch queue at the end. You see people being fed food, maybe a military compound, maybe a school. Maybe it is just a prison, and these are all of the staff, but they are being treated well. You look, and you realise you probably shouldn't run in here. And as you are realising this, Donnan, knowing that it leads to freedom, sprints through. Donnan, you throw the door open, you burst through, you turn to look at Jamie triumphantly. You have escaped. You turn and look, and there are hundreds of small, beady eyes looking back at you. From being sat down, from being fed, from being ready. What are you thinking, Donnan?
I want to try and persuade them that I should be here, and I've got a plan.
Yes.
So the Driders that are clearly, working or involved in whatever operation this is, have just seen a tiny dwarf with a couple of splinters around his waist burst out of a supply closet and say what?
I snatch the diary off Jamie, and I walk forward with confidence, and I say, I've come to check up on your ladders, and they are not up to standard. What have you guys got to say about this?
Roll a d20.
19!
Yes!
We're gaming!
Winning, son.
The Driders go back to their meal as one of the ones by the door walks over to you.
I'm sorry, sir. I was about to check up on the fire regulations of the store closet. It was next on my checklist.
They hold out a little checklist to you, and you can see cabin, captain's rooms, deck, bird's nest, supply closet. It is next on their checklist of things to do, and you now have a better idea for where you might be. Some kind of ship.
Oh.
What would you say to this supervisor that has walked up to you?
I'd say, look, it's serious business. This needed to be done a week ago, but I will be back in a week, and I'll check on it, despite the fact that we're now probably on a ship and there is nowhere to go back.
With all due respect, officer, we no longer use those ladders for embarking or disembarking. They are old technology. We do not rely on them anymore.
Well, I'm going to have to relay this to my higher up. I'm just doing my job, mate. Just doing my job.
I understand. I must, however, ask.
The Drider leans in a bit closer to you.
Why were you in the closet with a bird?
At this point,
Jamie, what do you want to do? Do you want to interject?
I come out like this, and I have all the ladders on my feathers, and I'm like, this needs to be confiscated. This is not okay. What, are you in charge here? Are you in charge? And I point with my other tip of my feather, and I point at him. Are you in charge here?
Roll a d20.
10.
You have indeed managed to pick up a lot of the rope ladders, and they are all curled up on each of your wings as you walk out. And you walk out and you simply say, "This!" And as you say that, they all unroll down to the floor at the same time, as if you are a ship and that is some kind of sail that you've got going on. And you say, "This!" as they all fall, "is not acceptable." The supervisor looks back toward Donnan and toward you. Is there anything you want to add before the supervisor talks? Because you weren't exactly imagining that they would all unfurl, but you might be able to use this to your advantage.
Did you see that? Did you? And I point towards whoever this is. Did you see that?
As you point, obviously all the wooden rungs are clanking along the floor as you move your wings around.
Mm-hmm. Did you hear the density in the ropes? Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
That's what I said. I said to Maud, the supervisor, that's not the correct density of escape rope. That's what I said.
And do you know what else it is? Do you?
No.
Well, it is a potential fire hazard. You have a fire potential hazard in your supply closet.
I will add this to the... I must add this.
And then the guard leaves. And you realise that you're just standing there in a cafeteria full of Dryder and Dark Elves, who aren't really paying you too much attention now because they think you're meant to be there.
Yeah.
You've got a load of rope ladders wrapped around your wings, and Donnan has got a couple of spikes full of shards
And
of
a
wood
diary.
in him, and a diary that you are absolutely convinced you are a fire inspector.
Yeah, this is the clipboard and high-vis treatment.
You might be on some sort of ship, and so far you might be able to get off through just pure blagging.
Yeah.
You look around the cafeteria. There seems to only be one main way in and one main way out. Wooden swing doors at the far side. That would, of course, corroborate with the diary, because the cafeteria should have 2 exits as far as fire regulations go, but as you can see, they clearly don't. In order to get to those 2 swing doors, you would need to walk through the room.
I think we should, go with the whole blagging it thing. We should look confident, look like we belong here. I think we go and grab a glass of water or something while we're here.
Yeah, I'm hungry. Wait,
So
are you hungry?
Hang on, your option is... No, hang on, stop. Your option is not just get out of the room, it's have lunch.
Yeah.
Look, if we look like we belong here, less questions are going to be asked.
Are you going to
I'm
join
hungry.
the lunch queue?
Oh, there's a queue.
I mean, it's not long. It only like 3 or 4 Driders, and it's moving pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'd happily jump in the queue.
I follow along.
Donnan, describe the situation as you walk through the cafeteria full of Dryder and Dark Elves and actually take your place behind one of them in a queue for lunch.
Yeah, so I just, shoulders back, splinters falling out of me, walk over to the queue with confidence, give a few nods, wave of the book at a few people as I get in the queue, and then I just stand there looking around, trying not to make eye contact with anyone.
Jamie, are you following?
I'm following, but as I walk towards the queue, I notice a dark elf that on the edge of the table, and I'm interested in this dark elf, but I'm not too sure what he looks like. From the being in the dark for so long and being exposed to light. Can you tell me what he looks like?
They're all wearing a similar sort of uniform, both the Driders and the Dark Elves. It's extremely dark purple, but in the relative darkness of the actual room you're in, might just be black or grey. It's purple with a white orb on it, and then from the orb, white tendrils going down. And then at the bottom of the 3 white tendrils, a brown box.
Like a jellyfish.
Kind of. White orb, white tendrils going down, brown box connected on the bottom. Ears pointy, head forward, short black hair, eating from a metal tray. You can't necessarily see exactly what type of food, but some of it's thin and tenderly with horrible dry crunchy bits every now and again when you eat.
I definitely think we should skip the food here.
And I'll look over and I'll see. Are they serving coffee, tea?
Do you wish to ask someone this, or are you just checking what they're serving?
Oh no, I'll ask the dark elf that's close to me. Excuse me.
What?
Why are you whispering?
This is my voice.
Oh, sorry.
So insensitive.
Well, you called me a bird earlier. Anyway, we're just visiting. But could do with some coffee.
Do I look like I'm working the kitchen?
I just know. I don't know. I was asking. I'm getting noticeably nervous here. So scratching my neck.
As you scratch your neck, all you can hear is a load of wood clanking as all of the wooden ropes are just knocking against each other at the same time. So you're still carrying them, and as you scratch, just clonk, 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 clonk. Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Any coffee? Is there coffee or juice or something to drink? Would you recommend it or avoid it?
There is the blood of our enemies.
Edgy boy. All right, I like you.
That's what you're saying to him.
Yep.
How did you know my name was Edgy Boy?
I'm gonna look over to Donnan and just.
I'm just shaking my head.
With a concerned look, like like when you're in a nightclub and it's like 4 a.m. and you've got the weirdo coming over to you, and you're like, help me. I get one of those looks to him.
Okay,
it's the club. In this scenario, you're the weirdo.
Yeah.
The dude was just sat eating his food, and you walked over and goes, "How's the coffee?"
I have to agree, you are the
Boy,
weirdo.
which just happens to be his name, I'm amazed you got it correct, was just enjoying his dinner in the cafeteria, and then some random bird with a load of rope ladders attached to the wings just walked over and started interrogating them about the menu.
Okay, knowing that, I shoot a concerned look to Donnan, and then I turn back and I say, Edgy boy, yeah, pretty sure I know your cousin, God, the name,
Lalaruam. Yes.
Yes. We hung out once. Edge told me about you because she really liked you. Favorite cousin, she said. Yeah.
She died 10 years ago.
I'm quite old.
Can I intervene and help with this
Please
situation?
do, Donnan.
Right, I run over and I'm like, I'm sorry, excuse her. First day on the job. Come with me. Come on, let's get this drink and go.
You've got your drink, by the way.
Yeah.
The dinner lady just served you.
Yeah.
You're getting on fine with people so far.
Yeah, I'm just jiving around the place. Yeah. So I come in and rescue you. I swoop you away.
Jamie, you've been pulled away of Edgy Boy, as Edgy Boy, cousin of Lalaluam, watches you leave the room. Are you both leaving the room?
I think it's best.
People are saying, imagine we made them roll speech. I will never make my players roll for something they could just improvise and role play. This is the true D&D. People always go, don't roll for charisma, just be charismatic. You leave the lunchroom out into a much broader corridor, made of wood, with purple drapes hanging on the walls. And you can even see some signs on the walls now, some markings. You can see cafeteria, pointing behind you. You can see main deck, pointing one way. You can see cells, pointing another. They're pretty much your only options.
Well, we've already been in the cafeteria. Mm-hmm. We don't want to go back to the cells. Mm-mm. I think we head to the main deck.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie, what are you thinking?
As he's saying that, I'm giving the I agree. Main deck's probably our way to go.
You walk down. As you walk along, you see a dark elf walking toward you. This one a bit taller. This one with white mid-length hair. Same logo on the top. This one carrying a short sword, walking a bit more military. And as they walk, they look at you. You. I know you. He looks at you, Donnan.
Oh, no.
I saw you last week on one of the transports that arrived. Who are you?
I'm just a fire safety inspector. Came here to inspect the fire safety of your ship.
Roll a d20.
Oh, crap.
I hope that you said that out loud.
17, yeah.
17.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like anything we'd need. Do you have any proof of this?
I have the diary. I pull it out and I give it to them. I've not seen what's inside the diary, so this could be an awful idea.
He takes the diary and begins to read. Day 412. My captors keep me locked in this cell. I hope one day I am able to leave. It was a shame that I fought against the Dark Elf Empire. Death to all of them. Death to their families. Death to their entire lineage. I do not miss being a fire inspector.
I take that book away. Just
roll a d20 to see how well taking the book away goes.
Okay. 10.
10. You don't necessarily take the book away as much as just turn the page. He's reading it, and then you've kind of just reached out with your hand and gone to turn it. Day 309. Escape attempts have failed. I will never again see my family. I will die a mile up. Not the way I intended to go. If anyone finds this book, please bring death to the Dark Elves.
So, yeah, I'm here to replace the previous fire safety inspector, and I was just picking up where he left off. So his notes aren't the best. He didn't keep track really of what the issues were. So I'm just doing a once over.
Roll a d20.
2.
2.
Yeah.
You say you're here to replace the previous. That was what you wanted to say. You're here to replace the previous. You haven't read the book, so
No.
what you think it says is lots of fire safety stuff. So what you actually say is, yeah, that's what I think too. Assuming that's the right thing to say.
Yeah.
Jamie, you know what's in the book, and you know that Donnan's saying, yeah, I agree. Probably not the best thing to do. Any suggestions?
I turn to Donnan and I give him a quick wink. Oh, there's a cheeky wink. And I then turn to the officers. Or
Just one guy.
Are they dark elves?
Just one dark elf dude.
Oof, easy. Okay, I turn to him and I walk up to him and I say, hey, can I ask you a question?
What?
Have you ever been with a bird?
I have seen many birds.
Yeah.
I have been in the room while a bird is present.
Ah. But have you been with a bird?
I have been in the presence of many birds, yes.
Cool.
That's a no.
So, let me show you something really exciting. Once in a lifetime opportunity. And it's incredible. It's going to change your life. It's revolutionary. And I give him this smile. My eyes are glinting.
Roll a d20.
19.
He's listening.
Okay. I extend a little feathered hand for his.
He doesn't seem to care about taking it, but he is listening to what you have to say. I'm going to need both of you to come with me. But he is somewhat distracted by reading the book still. What's the plan, Jamie?
Okay, my deception work didn't work. Donnan.
Yeah, I've still got it. Who's he facing at the moment? Who's
the book? He's still reading more of the book at the minute.
Okay. I think we just jump him. Even if the stab goes wrong, he's going to need a tetanus shot because that thing's rusty as hell.
No. Pass me the dagger.
Okay, I pass Jamie the dagger.
The elf guard is still reading the book.
Like I said, let me show you something. And I reach around and I put the blade towards his mouth. And I just whisper, don't say a word.
Roll a d20.
That's a better plan.
20!
Yes!
As you reach around with this blade in your hand, your arm moves quick. And you didn't realise it, but what you end up doing is whipping the rope ladders around him in a cocoon-like fashion, pinning his arms to his side, pinning the book in, and leaving only his face there. So as he looks up and the blade is placed at his throat, the body is wrapped up with rope ladders that spin around, and then the spindly wooden bits of the ladders slot in between the ropes and seize him up. He can't move. You can quite easily disengage the ladders from your arm if you wish to, but he has been completely wrapped up in them.
Cool. So I say, don't say a word. With
He looks up.
blade against his
He
throat.
sees the blade. He realises he's wrapped. And he goes quiet.
So, let me tell you what's going to happen. You're going to tell us exactly how to get off this place. And I know it's a ship at this point, right?
I think it's an airship from what they were saying.
It's the main deck. The main deck. The descending ropes.
Descending ropes. And how do we get there?
You follow the arrow that says main deck.
And is there patrols? Patrols.
Is there patrols?
Camera? Anything we need to know?
There's me.
Oh, brilliant! Let's go for a walkies.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
What are you going to do with this? What are you going to do with this guard?
I'm just gonna well, let's go. And
You're going to
then
take him
walk
with you as a
towards the main
prisoner?
deck. Oh yeah.
You turn him around. Are you going to hold him out in front with the dagger and just walk down with him? Because I think Donnan's "we're fire safety inspectors" shtick might be a bit more difficult to pull off if you've got one of the guards at knife point.
It's fine. We know where we're going. Donnan, do you want to go first?
I will scout the way in case there's anyone ahead, because like you say, Josh, probably not best to be dragging a prisoner as fire safety inspectors.
But you've got it now, and that's just... I need to just check. Donnan does know that he's not actually a fire safety inspector. Or is Donnan starting to believe this lie?
Donnan's fully aware that he's not, but he's actually kind of liking the authority it gives him now. So he might just play along with it after this campaign's over as well.
This is your character now. This is the birth of the character. Donnan, the fire safety inspector.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
He's never had a job. He's lived with his mum for 42 years.
And now you're super qualified.
I am.
Donnan walks down first. The corridor ends to steps going up, and then a door at the top of the steps. A nice oak wooden door. Are you ready to step through it, Donnan?
I am. I'd like to take a peek through, open it a little bit, peek through, see what's going on through there.
You peek through these doors at the top of the steps, and outside, you see clouds. And you see a deck.
Perfect. That's where we want to go.
You step through the wooden doors, and you step out onto the deck, and you realise you are probably about a mile up. The wooden floor of the deck extending out in front of you. You are indeed on a ship, but as you step out onto the main part of the ship, you realise the white tendrils on the logo were spiderweb leading up. And as you look up, you see above you a huge sphere of spiderweb with a flame heating air into the lower part of the giant spider sack. You are in a spider-built airship, flying over who knows where. You have been taken prisoner, and your only way down, as they said, is the descending ropes. But you don't know where they are yet.
And I'm guessing they're not a mile long.
There are a couple of staff members, you assume, working on the deck. There is an elf scrubbing away with a mop, cleaning. There is one simply standing on the edge of the ship, leaning forward, looking over into the distance, looking down to the lands below, and then up on the crow's nest, you can see a Drider glancing around. No one seems to have seen you yet. Jamie, what are you thinking now you've just stepped out onto the deck with your prisoner wrapped up in rope ladders with a knife to their neck?
I'm thinking we're in a pretty good position. Fortunately, not afraid of heights. Who would have guessed? So I'm pretty happy. I want to ask my fellow prisoner, where are these descending ropes?
You're going to ask the dude. He turns. We make them.
Oh no.
Oh God. You mean how do you make them? How do you...
The Driders.
How long's that ladder you've got wrapped up in?
If you were to combine the lengths of all of the ladders together, you may be able to reach halfway down, but you'd be falling a long way still. You don't even know what you're over yet. You can't actually see over the edge of the ship.
So, this ship, would it be potentially capable of being an actual water-faring vessel if it was to somehow land in water?
It is effectively a warship, a classic wooden-built warship that has had a lot of the internals, had ground added to it, had sand, had mud, had dirt. It's been converted. It's much, much bigger than a classic warship. Absolutely huge. But all they've done is taken it and then added a load of spider webs to it to attach a massive hot air balloon structure above it.
Hey, Donnan, I got an idea.
And me, it's not a good one though. Go ahead.
Not a good one. Wait, what's yours?
I was going to say we cut the web slightly so it starts to descend.
That's better than mine. I was going to say burn the ship. They'd have to land it.
Why not both?
Why not both?
Yeah.
You find the flint and steel. No,
Yeah.
you have the dagger. So I'll find some sort of flint and steel lighter
Yeah.
with this chap, and I'll point to the dark elf. Where's your staff room, buddy?
What's a staff room?
Refreshments.
Wait.
Wait.
Refreshments.
Wait, hold on. Are you telling me that?
You came from the refreshment room.
Where's your lockers?
We don't have possessions. We keep them. We sleep in shifts.
Where do you sleep? I mean, I only just met you, but
The guard goes on to explain more about the layout of the ship to you. Effectively, it is built like a regular ship, apart from the addition of the cells and the luncheon room that you came from. You'd have to descend down a different set of steps toward the front to go into the hold, and then lower down to go into the effective barracks, where people would sleep on sets of hammocks set up down below.
Donnan,
Yeah.
do you want to try find the lighter? I'll have the knife.
I've got a second idea for that plan.
Okay.
Are there any observable lanterns or anything on the deck of the ship?
Yes, literally right next to you is a flaming torch.
Perfect. I found it. I've got it.
I'm not going to make things difficult for you. You're making them difficult for yourself. If you want to come up with this plan about finding some kind of flint and tinder and lighter and striking match, that's
Well,
fine. But you
sorry,
could just ask if there are lanterns. The
I
place
didn't
is
think
lit
there
really
would
well.
be open
Perfect.
flame on a big wooden boat.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, they
the
didn't assume
sky.
anyone. They didn't assume that anyone would try and burn it down.
Yeah.
As
So,
far as they
Fire
care,
safety.
their fire safety is absolutely top notch.
It's-
They've had it
it's
inspected
perfect.
so many times.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So essentially, Jamie said to me, "You go find, something to light the ship on fire." I go here.
Jamie didn't even
Brilliant.
see it. Jamie just went, find something that's on fire, and then looked away, and you just went, done, and she looked back, and you're just
Yeah.
standing there with a flaming torch next to you.
Wow.
Doesn't even know where it came from.
Perfect.
Of course, the most flammable thing you have, and you know this from the book, is the rope ladders.
Yeah,
Which at
that's a
the
good
minute
point.
just happen to be wrapped around an elf.
That's
And-
great.
That can eradicate two problems in one.
Yep. Elves burn great. I mean, ask Sylvanas.
Oh no. Too soon.
It's not a tree, you can't burn it down again. Right, so Donnan, what's your plan now you've just got this flaming torch and Jamie's just kind of looked at you and smiled and then looked at the elf prisoner that's been wrapped up in these rope ladders?
So I want to execute this plan before we get spotted by anyone nearby. So I want to give Jamie the lantern, and I want to start climbing these webs up to the big web balloon with my
Okay.
dagger.
Jamie, you take the flaming lantern. You now have a flaming lantern and a guard wrapped in extremely flammable material. What are you going to do with this? Any final words before you burn this guy to death?
Oh, I do feel kind of bad actually, but
Dracarys.
Are they the no? Are they the final
Sure.
words? I feel kind of bad actually, and then just set him on fire. Brilliant.
Yep.
Jamie, you look at your elf prisoner. You say, "I do feel kind of bad." Then you put the torch to the prisoner. It goes up instantly, immediately. The wood splinters, the ropes catch. The elf barely has time to scream before his face melts off his body. The intensity of the heat. You can see the bones underneath the skin as the nerves are being bubbled away and melting off. And as this elf falls down onto the floor, the fire catches and begins to spread relatively quickly. The screaming has alerted everyone else on deck, and several driders and elves turn to look at you, only to see a screaming pile of dead elf and a dwarf scrambling quickly up a spider web. Just, Donnan, roll a d20, see how well that goes.
Oh boy, here we go. Don't fail me now. 19.
19.
Yeah.
You jump up, you slap your hands onto the spider web. It's sticky, as spider webs would be, but you can
Perfect.
peel your hand off quite easily. But when you pull up, it sticks. You're able to slap and pull, slap and pull, slap and pull, and you're able to actually climb pretty bloody fast. You climb up this guide rope, effectively to the top where it connects to the huge sphere full of hot air. What would you then like to try and do?
I want to get my dagger and slash the top of it so the hot air's escaping more than it's staying in, and it's just lowering the balloon down, at a decent pace.
The actual hot air balloon part of it is absolutely massive, so you wouldn't be able to slash the top, but you would be able to climb up the guide rope to effectively the bottom curve bit and then put a huge cut into it.
I'll do that then.
Roll a d20, see how well this goes.
Okay. Oh, 20. I thought that was a 2.
Ooh.
You climb up. You take your dagger. You stab in. And you slash down. And you hear the air begin to escape. You hear the flight of an arrow behind you. You turn and look quickly, and you realise some guards over the other side have spotted you. They have notched bolts into crossbows. They have taken aim and they have fired. They have missed you, but they have sent the bolts straight into the hot air balloon bit as well, helping your entire goal. Instead of climbing back down quickly, you stab the dagger into the guide rope you were in, jump off and ride it as it rips and tears all the way down until you are back on the deck, and you can feel the ship start to shudder. It's not simply falling down, it's beginning to tilt, it's beginning to twist, and it's beginning to spiral as the air escaping from the huge balloon is effectively blowing the ship in one direction as it begins to slowly corkscrew toward the floor. It is on fire and it is spiraling down. Jamie, what are you thinking? The guards have noticed both of you, but everyone is concerned. Do they attack the 2 prisoners? Do they put out the fire? Or do they attempt to fix the balloon? And no one is quite sure what to do for this eventuality. There is panic. There is chaos. Jamie, take advantage of this chaos. What do you do?
I jump off the edge of the boat.
You're a bird. You could have always done that. You're going to leave Donnan on his own.
No.
You're going to be like, fuck it, guys, I'm out, and just leap off the edge.
Actually, yeah. Fuck Donnan. I'm going to jump off the edge.
Brilliant. Jamie's finished. Jamie's done the adventure. Well done. Just describe... You're just going to kind of hover next to it, just looking at Donnan, just kind of giving a thumbs up, be like, best of luck.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Donnan,
describe how what you've seen, Donnan, is you've just ran down, jumped, you've destroyed the top, you've set things on fire, you are ready, and you've just seen Jamie run in front of you and just leap off the edge. Totally safe.
I was fully prepared for this, obviously. It was bound to happen. I've got a plan.
What's the plan?
That will sink them and save me. I want to cut all of the guides up to the balloon, and I want to, when I cut the last one, hang on and just ride it down.
Roll a d20 to see how well this goes.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy. Oh, well, it's on the floor. Let's have a look. 14.
14. It's not the cleanest. You run toward one of the next guide ropes that's holding the balloon onto the actual ship. You raise the tiny dagger that you've got, and then, between you and the guide rope, steps a young, nervous, dark elf guard, a short black blade in their hand, looking at you, and they go, "Stop! You need to come with me."
How close is he to the edge of the ship?
Maybe about 2 or 3 feet. There is a small wooden rim around the edge that you'd be able to lean on and look off, but not enough to stop him going over if you tried.
Perfect. I'm going to try and do a big Sparta kick straight off the edge.
Roll a d20.
Okay, let me give myself some more room for this one.
Do you realise if you miss...
8.
The guard
I may be coming down sooner than I
guard
planned.
steps in front. You've got to come with me. Donnan, would you like to say anything as you run up for this Sparta kick?
We need some heroic words here.
That's what you say. Donnan simply looks at the guard and goes, "We need some heroic words here." Runs toward the guard. The guard kind of steps to the side. Donnan raises his foot and kicks. The force of the kick sends you flying straight towards the edge of the ship. You catch your other leg on the edge and you tumble over the side, free falling into the sky.
Oh,
Jamie, what you've just seen is a guard step forward, say, no, stop, and Donnan go, "We need some heroic words," run forward and just kick himself over the edge as hard as he possibly can. He is falling toward the ground. Jamie, do you wish to do anything to stop this? Below you is sea.
And I make that audible groan as I know that I have to try and dive to catch him.
I'm just shrugging as I'm free falling.
Roll a d20, Jamie.
Oh, 5.
You dive down. You reach out. You grab. You've grabbed a handful of arrows. Or a claw full of arrows. You could grab Donnan, but to grab him, you've got to drop the arrows and grab Donnan instead. Are you willing to drop the plague arrows in order to grasp Donnan?
No. No. Sorry,
Donnan, describe the thoughts and emotions that fly through your head as you plummet toward the ocean.
Well, I definitely wasn't prepared for this outcome. I have absolutely no backup plan here, and I now have no arrows.
Roll a d20.
Again.
I want to see how safely you land on the water, because you're landing with some serious speed.
Yeah.
You land feet first, hand covering your nose, ready to go in. You might survive this. You
Wouldn't
get
count on it.
You get a what? 6. So we're talking like an atomic belly flop. We're talking like the tiniest
I empty
dwarf
the ocean.
making the biggest splash. So as this guard looks over the edge from the ship, as the ship spirals down, and just sees this tiny dwarf tumbling, and then just slaps the water with your tiny dwarf stomach, terminal velocity, knocking the wind out of you, plunging you into the water. Not dead, just knocked unconscious, as you slowly bob back up and float. Amazingly, the book was tucked inside your clothes. The book itself is buoyant, which means you have been saved by the diary of an old fire safety inspector. You are unconscious, bobbing along the ocean. Jamie, you can swoop down and kind of glide next to Donnan. You can't pull him out of the water yet. It's soaking into his clothes and he's a bit too heavy, but you've survived.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can see that this dwarf is buoyant in the sea. And how many arrows did I have in my hand?
5.
5, cool. And then I put them into my belt, which handily suits 5 arrows. So they're nice and secure. Great. And then I fly towards Donnan, and I'm going to scoop him up by some loop on his jacket. Or
Roll the d20, see how well that scoop goes.
leather belt.
Because it might just be a dive bomb slap.
Hey, you just drowned me.
14.
14.
Oh,
you
God.
do manage to loop your arm and some of your feathers through one of his leather belts and kind of pull him up out of the water. He's heavy. He's heavy. You can glide with him, but you cannot gain much height in the air. But he is out of the water and safe.
Brilliant.
And that, ladies and gentlemen,
No!
is the adventure of Donnan and Jamie waking up on a Dryder Dark Elf prison airship, escaping by smashing through the wooden floor, falling into storeroom 2, finding the diary of an old fire inspector, convincing the supervisor Dryder that they are in fact fire inspectors, meeting Edge-Eye Boy in the lunchroom, taking a guard prisoner by wrapping them in rope ladders and holding a dagger to their neck, walking them onto the deck, setting fire to him horrifically, slicing the guide ropes to the hot air balloon above, sending the ship into a death spiral, and then plunging into the water below. Donnan, how do you feel? That's the entire sentence. How do you feel?
Oh, okay, I thought there was more coming out.
I thought there was more coming as well, but
yeah.
I was going to say, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? But no, in general, Donnan,
yeah.
how do you feel?
Well, to be honest, I didn't expect to get out of the prison. Wasn't really sure exactly how long I was going to be in there, so just happy to be out. And yeah, I've made a new friend along the way, a feathery friend.
Well, friend is a very strong word in this situation. You have you have gone on an adventure with Jamie. Let's not use the word friend. The way she treated you.
Yeah, but in all fairness, every friend I've taken on an adventure has died within 20 minutes. So this one's lasted a lot longer than the others.
You have done that. Jamie, how are you feeling with the adventure?
Brilliant. I've escaped, which was my plan. I have now secured some plague arrows, which I can inevitably use as leverage. And I have somehow convinced this dwarf that I am in fact a friend, which is great because I'm great at sacrificing friends to get what I want.
So you've effectively gained another bargaining chip in your life.
I have.
Ladies and gentlemen in the chat, thank you for joining us for that adventure. Now the adventure is over, Callum,
Yes.
do you enjoy D&D with me?
I do, actually. I really do. I didn't know how I'd feel about it when I first started with D&D, but I love it. Absolutely love it.
Is this, by the way, isn't the way that every DM works. Most DMs would have some kind of plan. They would have some kind of consistency. They would not let you do stupid shit, or they would, stop you doing it. I like to lean into it. I like to put the adventure and the characterization first. One of the things that I really like, and you can correct me if you don't feel the same way, whenever there's a challenge, there's a guard, or there's a combat scenario, I think there should be multiple ways through it, and only one of those ways should be combat. You can solve a situation in loads of ways without combat. I mean, there was no combat in tonight's session, apart from that time you burned a dude to death.
And that wasn't really combat, that was very one-sided.
Yeah, that was just...
An arrow did go near you, though.
That was murder.
It did.
That was just straight-up murder. That's what that was. Rage, how do you feel about playing D&D with me?
I love it. It's great.
You?
I love the way you DM. The way that you DM is exactly how I DM, and how I DM is how I want other players to experience Dungeons and Dragons. So for me, this is perfect.
The heroic word kick was fantastic. What's going to happen is, if anyone was here for the Tangent Tavern 2 weeks ago, we had another guest on, a lovely streamer called Billy Tricks, and she played Dungeons and Dragons with myself and Callum as well. At Insomnia, and this is why I'm super excited about it, I will be DMing. Callum, Rage, and Billy are all going to be the players, and they will all be on one big adventure together, and I have no idea what that adventure is going to be. I'm going to improvise it on the day. Next week, on the Tangent Tavern, I would very much like, if we can, to have Callum, Rage, and Billy all together, and to have you guys see a 3-person D&D adventure. Callum, how do you feel about that?
I am game for that. Let's do it.
I think it'd be funny. Rage, you think you're up for that?
Yeah, it's going to be an absolute treat for chat. Billy's a great. If you were here 2 weeks ago, Billy's great at D&D. She can think on the spot quite well.
Yeah,
Callum's great. You're great at plans. I'm good at.
You're also here. Yes.
Yep, I exist.
Billy can make
and
up
Josh
stuff
is
really...
a great DM.
Yeah, Billy can make up stuff really quickly. Callum can do some kind of crazy off the wall stuff, and Rage, you can also be involved. That's how it's going to work. So this has been like a little taster D&D session. I'm super happy with it. Chat, let me know what you guys think in the Discord. You can jump into Callum's Discord, you can jump into my Discord. Rage, you've got a Discord as well, and all of your socials are on the stream right now. So you've got YouTube, which is Ragedarling. Rage, what kind of stuff do you put out on YouTube?
World of Warcraft guides. So beginner guides to get new players into World of Warcraft, old players, and just to figure out what the hell's going on in WoW, because let's be honest, no one really knows.
No one knows right now. Not even the jailer knows what's going on with WoW.
No.
And what are you streaming on Twitch right now? Is it more World of Warcraft?
World of Warcraft, because patch 9.2 just came out, so there is a lot to do.
Right.
But I will be doing some Apex Legends next week, I think.
Okay. And everyone knows that myself and Callum have a Patreon, and we have YouTube and Twitch and stuff. How can people support you, Rage, if they want to?
I have both Patreon and Fan House. Fan House gets direct video uploads. I recently went, I do snowboarding. So I recently went to France and I vlogged every single day. And my lovely editor, who's in chat, Oxtier, is an amazing editor. And he edited 5 vlogs. They got directly uploaded to Fan House. And then Patreon followed suit after. Everything is mirrored on both because people have preference. Fan House is great on iOS and Android. Patreon is great for websites. So you take your pick. Excellent.
I've seen all the pictures from your snowboarding and they look absolutely fantastic. This isn't necessarily an ad for Insomnia. They haven't asked us to do that. What it is it's us being genuinely excited to share something that we love with you. I don't know how you feel about this, Rage. I know that me and Cal are super excited just to hang out with people and just to game with people and just to get that nerdy kind of camaraderie back. So I think we've missed that over the pandemic, haven't we?
Yeah, definitely. That if you've never been to a gaming convention before, it is such an eye-opening experience because you walk in and it's this convention hall filled with hundreds of people that just are just nerdy like you, and it scratches that itch that you like. You're not alone, and you can walk up to anyone and you recognize someone's backpack, you recognize someone's t-shirt, you can walk up to anyone who's playing a tabletop adventure and ask to join. You know, it's just it's a hub of people like us, and it's amazing. I can't believe it's been 2 years.
It has been.
Yeah.
Anything like this.
It has been 2 years since we've done anything. Callum, what kind of videos have you got coming out this week, man?
Good question. I haven't planned too far ahead because I've been mostly sorting out this PC setup. I've got a video coming out on... I'm trying to think what the name of this game is. Dominia, I think it's called. It's a...
yes, Demeanor. Or
Demeanor.
Demeanor, something like that. I saw they had a bit of a Twitter breakdown. Rage, have you seen this?
It's mental.
Oh.
Like, absolutely mental. Their patch notes was the one that got me. So basically, they've speedrun the death of their new game.
Yeah. It's not even new. It's a very
it.
old game. I bought it about 3 or 4 years ago. But
really?
It didn't do well. And so for anyone in the chat who's unsure, there was a game called Demeanor where you play as... It's set in... Is it a Roman Colosseum?
I believe so, yeah.
And you are like the agent that deals with all of the fighters. So you can recruit fighters, and you can recruit gladiators, and you can give them weapons and armor and items, and you can make them fight together, and there's chariot racing and stuff like that. It's kind of like a pixel-based game. It's not super realistic graphics, pixel sprite-based game. But the dude that makes it, he has some very strong opinions politically, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's just kind of had this, I don't want to say mental breakdown, but the same kind of effect where he's just spewing all these opinions as facts. And like the patch notes in the last patch of the game is the wildest one I've seen yet.
It's on Steam, isn't it? The actual patch notes on Steam for their game. Wasn't one of them said, take the mask off, show courage, show a girl your face, you might get a girlfriend, stop being afraid.
Yeah, stop being a slave to the system, I think the words were, or something like that. He's just gone on this tirade of just ruining the game's image.
Yeah.
It's wild. It really is.
Yeah, didn't someone tweet out something bad about the game? And the tweet response from this dude was, 6 hours ago, you were sad tweeting. 6 hours ago, I was balls deep in my girlfriend.
Yeah, that was his response on the game's account on Twitter.
Yeah. So it wasn't even his own personal account. He was using the actual business account to try and own someone because they were anti. Rage, have you ever seen people get angry? Are you looking it up now? Are you trying to find it?
I am, yeah.
Demeanor game. You can, seriously, the dude seems properly unhinged. Now, if you have political beliefs, that's absolutely fine. We've all our own stances. Just don't put it in your game.
Yeah.
Because it's a bad business decision. So, Cal, you've got a video coming out on the Demeanor drama.
Yeah, tomorrow.
I've got my video about the Realm of the Mad God that came out, and I'm still playing through Baldur's Gate for the classic Was It Good? Rage, you're going to be covering World of Warcrafty stuff.
Indeed, yes.
Sounds fantastic. Right. Thank you both very much for joining me. Callum, as always, and Rage, thank you for giving us your time this evening.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for DMing us.
It's always fun. I want to see if we can get Billy Tricks on next week. You guys think we can do that?
I'm sure we can persuade a kidnapper or something.
See? We went an entire podcast without mentioning Earth 2.
Or crypto or NFTs.
Are you proud of us?
I'm proud of us.
I'm proud of us. Rage, are you proud of us?
I am, yeah. Every time I tune into the Tangent Tavern, you're always talking about NFTs.
I know. And that's what we're going to stop. We're going to start. Forget NFT, embrace D&D. That's what we need to do from now on.
Yeah, that's going to be a shirt.
Cal, do you have any final thoughts you want to leave us with before we head off?
Nothing off the top of my head. Just as you said, thank you to everyone for joining us. It has been a blast as always, and I hope we can do more of these. I really do.
We'll do one-shots with as many people as we can. I reached out to Nerdslayer Studios, the guy that does the Death of a Game series on YouTube.
Yeah.
He's more than happy to come on and chat to us sometime. I haven't mentioned D&D to him, but I'm sure he'll be up for something. Reached out to the Spiffing Brit. He's more than happy to come and talk to us. So if any of you guys in chat know any YouTubers that you want to get on as guests, whether it's to chat on a Tangent Tavern or to play D&D with, let us know and we'll try and get it raged. Do you have any final thoughts you'd like to leave us with?
No, it's been a pleasure to chat. You've been really well behaved, which is nice because sometimes it's quite daunting going on some random man's stream and just, yeah, being a girl, it can be quite daunting. But no, chat, you're really well behaved. You're very respectful. And yeah, you're lovely beans.
I'd say we have a great community. Right.
You
Thank
do.
you very much to both of you. Chat, thank you for joining us. We will see you next week for more Tangent Tavern. Take care, good night, and God bless.